right. Made it to the old historic town. It's very, very gorgeous. We actually just got out. We just got out of the house for the first time today and it's sunset. Today's topic's twofold. We're going to talk about the issues of actually traveling and getting a lot of work done, as well as translational problems, materials that are in one language and the barriers that that causes. You have landed at the Daily BA. Let's roll. Welcome to the Daily BA. My name is Ryan O. In September of 2018, myself and Megan Miller were on a trip down into Brazil to spread some behavior analysis. This is part 3 of the videos. If you haven't already, make sure you watch the first 2 videos linked up here. So we're picking up where we left off, which is you're on the ground and you're trying to get as much work as you can done. First step is that we've gotten on the same page as to values, goals of the trip, both internationally, like via email before we met, and then when we actually landed in the country. Even though you're now in a different country, the world hasn't stopped. So you're in this constant battle of trying to keep up with communication, apps, what's going on, and the time zone differences can be a huge pain. Not to mention always running into issues with power. I carry, this beast gets me a lot of juice. Guaranteed to have a little bit of juice, no matter where you're at. So while this is going on, there's still supervision meetings Megan's conducting. There's other meetings and people that I need to check in with. Sometimes these meetings are happening in the middle of the night. The point is as luxurious and awesome as these trips are, they are a physical struggle and like toll on your body, and it's really hard to keep up with everything. If anyone's gonna go on a trip like this, the tip is to have a bare minimum amount of time. They say 2 to 3 hours that you're gonna plan just to try to keep up so that you don't come back to just mounds and mounds of work that need to be done. And what time you do have, you need to use extremely wisely. So when we're in the car, that is usually a time when everyone's cranking on their phones, getting the work done as fast as they can before the next activity, the next stop, the next thing that we're doing. Remember, this is a highlight of the entire trip, and it's really just the good parts. It's not interesting for you to watch me text on a phone for 3 hours on and off throughout the day, watch the emails that are going out at 11:30 at night, waking back up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's not exciting, but it does happen. In today's day and age with social media, people know what is available and out there. I'm gonna be talking from the perspective of the US, since that's where I am residing, and a citizen of. So people see America has X, Y, and Z. In this case, the peak training is one of those, but you can take any sort of example. Our infrastructure with the BACB, our professional organizations, all of that, right? This expectation of what's available, of what's currently going on in your area, say what tools or sort of training interventionists or practitioners or behavior analysts have, becomes a real issue. So I was on this trip, not sure what was gonna happen, what my role was. Part of that was to document and share things like this, but we actually found immediately a need to be able to translate a couple of the pre-assessment items from Peak, so that during the training that weekend, they had something that was fit a little bit better for that culture, because little things will change. Like an example, a metaphor that works very well in English in America does not hold up when you go into other countries. A lot of other people have talked about this. One area is acceptance and commitment therapy. They have known issues with their metaphors across different cultures. So there's an active translational testing piece on the effectiveness of those. So these projects are pretty fun because it's like you didn't know what happened and you have 24 hours to crank out some sort of video. A real heavy note, like we saw so many parents, like literally parents were crying in trainings or in meetings because they know that the help that their children need is out there, some form of it, but it's not accessible. So if I had one big call to action for behavior analysts, I know we are caught up in our day-to-day, what's going on in our neck of the woods, but if you just step back for a second, just a little bit, and 2 things, either take appreciation for the other people that are out there that are working hard to do other things, help support and grow this community of folks. This is not a competition. There's way too many people that need our help. The time is here and now to help support one another in behavior analysis. And if you're creating a tool, a product, a service, start thinking about translation as early as you possibly can. And I know one thing that Megan ran into was she's been presenting on the same topic since I think 2010, going around talking about some advancements in autism treatment, research, etc. And one person can only be in so many places. So I know that she values and works towards creating these sort of online opportunities. I think we have more people that need to be doing such things and not paywalling the hell out of them. Now, despite how busy these trips are, we always take a little bit of time to make sure that we have some sort of break throughout the day. This particular day, I'm going to show you, Was a work day for 12 hours. I mean, we had access to food. We didn't even eat food because you're so busy. So it was like 5:30 or 6 in the afternoon before we actually got out of the house, saw a little bit, caught sunset at least, grabbed some food and jumped into another training day.
We are already in the historic center in
All right. Made it to the old historic town. Very, very gorgeous. We actually just got out. We just got out of the house for the first time today and it's sunset.
In the 1800s, Holland had taken over this area. She's telling us. Okay, go on.
E aí, a Holanda mandando dinheiro para cá para construir porto nesse espaço.
They were sending money to build a port in that space over there.
E aí, passou-se anos mandando dinheiro.
They kept sending the money.
E quando já estava na data de ficar pronto o porto, eles vieram conhecer o porto.
And when it was time to get to know the work, they came to see it.
E quando chegaram, só tem capim.
And when they came in, there was just grass.
E aí se chama Porto do Capim.
And that's what they call like grass port.
Where did the money go? Was it like spent on other things?
We don't know.
Yeah, no. One of my favorite things is that the folks there were able to bring together people that normally wouldn't come together. So there was folks traveling for 2 to 3 hours of a drive back and forth each day for these seminars that were going on the afternoon that we were teaching. So imagine getting off work at 4, driving until 7, going from something from 7 to 10, driving back home, then getting up and going to work. Like that is how valuable this information is for folks. So I want to say thank you to the folks that attended. I also wanted to point again to the people that are doing the work. I've linked them down in the bottom of the description. So please go follow, support them, give them a comment, a like, something that tells them like, hey, I see you working hard, because they are watching this as closely as I am. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, the grassroots movement of a bunch of mothers with children with autism that I mentioned in episode 1. End of day 3.
Didn't we already do an end of day 3?
I'm tired. We did for behind the scenes Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Never know when you're gonna need some more content.
Especially on an elevator.
What?